Again, thank you so much, Sudarshan, for coming to our show, Money Moves. First, starting with our three-phase questions, I wanted to ask you one thing. What came to your mind when you started your journey in Strata? What was your thought behind it?
So at least I can give you from a simple first. Thanks for having me on the show. One parameter which was exciting is generally from a real estate standpoint. I think it's a super technology deprived sector in general, and obviously it's very clear technology is the only way you can scale any sector or any business as such, right? So we were very fundamentally. I was a lawyer prior to this. I tried implementing a lot of tech in law, but I just realized it's just impossible to scale in that sector because it's just so redundant. People are not ready to accept it, technology, etc. So when three parameters which were very critical is in my law business, which was there, is I could not clone myself. People are like, hey, if it's Sudarshan only, then I will work. Otherwise, I'll go to some other law firm. So that was one big thing. So I have limited time. How do I leave my legacy behind was one parameter. So which is not the second. I could not create a brand because I was the brand, and you can't make money when you're sleeping, right? Which means the more hours I work, my billable hours are accordingly. Otherwise, I was not making money. And business doesn't work that way, right? Money should make even if you're sleeping. Business should continue going. And the third was I could not build a large brand, which was maybe my hindsight of now did have the vision per se, did have the large brand building capability also because, like I said, I was the brand, right? So with Strata, these were the three parameters. I could build a brand, where Sudarshan was not the brand, Strata was the brand. Second, I can make money when I'm sleeping, and I can implement technology and scale this industry to a large extent. So these were the three, four insights and exciting parameters which allowed me to think and say, let's quit law and do this because the three check marks, were hitting the target for me.
Doing fantastic. That we have been following you from quite some time, and I give your examples everywhere. You see this man rising within 3 years. You have risen up like anything. So now on our chat show, we have a 3-point questions which can make audience understand how critical a financial decision is and what successful people do differently from other general people. So the first question is, what was the lowest financial point in your life, and how did you tackle that point in your startup journey, or it can before that as well?
See, so I'm a Marwadi first, so we know how to think 10 steps in advance always. So never had, fortunately, a situation where there was a financial low, emotionally, psychologically, etc. That can be a different parameter altogether. But from a financial low standpoint, we strongly believe in investing, and uh, me per se strongly believe in investing and saving for future as such. So, luckily I come from a family where I didn't have to earn money and give back family. I didn't have loans on my head for my education or whatever. Everything was sponsored by my family from that standpoint. So that luxury I had, I would say. So whatever I was earning was at my disposal to do whatever because I had absolutely no obligation for what I was worth. So hence I would say I didn't have a financial low per se, but uh, I ensure I'm not at a financial low because now I'm dependent. I'm not on my father's money. I earn, I do it for myself, I make my investments, I think 10 steps in advance. So I think you should think like an entrepreneur when it comes to business. And if you're till 35, in my view, you should take every risk possible today. You lose money, you can always earn it back. Opportunity cost is very low, but beyond 35, your opportunity cost just keeps exponentially rising because you might have a family, kids education, etc. It might be difficult for you to take those risks early. So till 35, no financial low is a low. It's a learning more than anything else.
Any funda which our audience can follow? Like if you are Marwari, so people out of Marwari family can understand. Students can follow. Okay, this you should do from your school life or starting your career or something. Is there something you can tell us?
See, so fundamental rule is at least in school, I used to have a lot of my seniors as a lot of my friends. So I used to get a lot of career guidance, education guidance around what to do because there's no point talking to my peer or my classmate because he's clueless as clueless I am, right? So it's always hang around with smarter people that will give you. When I say smarter, which means people with more experience, they are smarter all by itself because of learnings in learning. The guidance is more valuable than any guidance you can possibly get as a student. So that's number one. General other thing I would say is always think ahead of the time. Is have the vision to take daring calls, take bold decisions. And like I said, if you have the luxury like me that you don't have to send money back or you don't have to be with a thing, then definitely don't think of taking up a job at all. Think as entrepreneurs and think of starting something because access to capital has just become easier for people. There are enough and more venture capitalists in the market wanting to give money to people who are driving and building good businesses. So I would say think of entrepreneurship. And next 10 years is India's time. The kind of opportunity we're going to see in India is never been seen before. So job to करना ही नहीं है. हो सके जितना think entrepreneur, be like an entrepreneur and drive the business entrepreneur. Even if you are eventually taking up a job, drive it like an entrepreneur because that's the way you should have your vision in general as such.
So, our second question is, what is the most upper point of your financial life? Like you feel like, yes, now I have achieved something.
So
You are going to grow much more than that.
I'll,
But
I'll,
what
I'll,
is that?
I'll tell you, so even Mukesh Ambani today does not feel he's achieved financially because your goals keep changing. When you have a lot of money, then the societal goals come into picture that I want to give back to society. Like Bill Gates has tremendous amount of foundations he's running right now and trying to give back to society. So your goals always keep changing. There's never high because who are you competing with? You're competing with what you were the previous year. If I achieved, let's say, 40% growth, the intent should be can I beat 40%? So your competition is you from that standpoint. So if you're not hitting that, you should be disappointed rather than that. But I think one very important parameter is never let success hit your ego or your head because that is when you start having a downfall. So stay humble, say be hungry to keep learning. I think because the learning never stops irrespectively.
So, last question is, since when you started your own journey with Strata and now you are here, was there something you must have felt like this decision I am not able to make and I need some, you can say, new strategies in from the market to bring it to Strata? Now, since you have done these much things and you have established yourself as a brand and everyone knows you, is there something you feel like I could have done different?
Uh, Honestly, no. Because anything I would have done differently, probably there's a chance I would have not been where I am today right now. So I think even if I failed, it was for a reason. Any learnings, it was for a reason. So no regrets of changing any decision making per se, generally as such. I think one thing I've been very fortunate is I have a blessed team. The team who thinks like entrepreneurs and are go-getters. They can work 20 hours a day if required. But I've been very clear to folks, नहीं काम करना है 20 घंटे. But work 8 hours, work effectively. We'll secure and retire probably at 40. We don't need to keep working forever, right? So that is the vision which we have. So from a just from a simple business point, definitely I don't want to go back and change anything because even 1% change here and there, probably I might not be where I am.
Just before winding up, one question. What have you mind for India for next 10 years? What do you feel like we will be in next 10 years?
See, so my business is only if India succeeds more than anything. So there's no better person who would say, because India is the one who's going to win in the next 10 years, maybe 20 for that matter. Uh, See, there is, just give you a simple construct, there are about 140 million people joining the Indian workforce in the next 4 to 6 years, right? That is more than the population of Germany, right? So that is the opportunity of sitting. We're no longer the back office guys, we're innovators. Our students today don't read just the books. They know like, whatever you're teaching, I can read on Wikipedia. You tell me beyond this, what is there? That's what people ask the student, ask the teachers now. So we're thinking and moving from, you know, just follow the rules to creating new rules. That is the India we're talking about, whether it's the whole India tech stack, which is UPI, Aadhaar, OCEN, ONDC, etc., which is coming up, to Gati Shakti initiatives from the government, PLI schemes, etc. It's just talking about how pro-business this government is and the kind of opportunity with human capital, knowledge capital, which it has right now, with the new youth has, to the kind of opportunities the government is doing, it is making India a very secure nation for investors. As such, while we still have a long way to go in terms of ease of business, etc., but it's a matter of time. Nothing changes overnight because we have age-old, redundant legacy problems which takes decades to solve. Fortunately, Mr. Modi has been doing it at the pace which nobody else would have been done, right? So, from that standpoint, very positive. You can see with the bureaucrats itself, example like a Jay Shankar running, he's changed the whole foreign policy structure which nobody can even think of, like the way people look at India as such, right? So he speaks with that command, he speaks with that is because there is a backing of the government saying that, hey, go ahead and do it. They're there to support you as much, right? So I think the government is thinking as an entrepreneur. The government or India rather is thinking as an entrepreneur, thinking as, okay, there's a CEO who's the PMO, who's driving the business, but then there are heads of every department who are driving in the most professional manner and scaling, thinking about how do we beat our previous year targets. So most exciting time is the next 10 years for India.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving your time. It was so lovely to have you on our show. Thank
Awesome.
you.
All right.
Thank you.